Hey guys, DB Rye here, and well, this is actually going to be an uncensored video, so I'm naming it DB Rye Uncensored. Basically, there's no real plan here for this video, so no script or anything like that. Nothing like that. So basically, I'm just going to be sitting here talking, and basically, your guess is as good as mine where this is going to go and what comes out. But, yeah, I just thought, hey, why not do a video like this where I get to open up a bit more about myself, I suppose, and discuss other things. Maybe why I do the things I do. Yeah. Anyway, we'll just see where this goes, and well, well, if you're actually wondering, why I'm suddenly, posting like skateboarding things and skateboarding stuff as well. I've always had a bit of a deep down passion for skateboarding, and well, ever since I was a young kid, and I remember seeing it on movies, cartoons, things like that, and I thought skateboarding looked cool, and maybe the occasional like Tony Hawk sort of clip that was on TV at the time. I didn't see that sort of thing much because, well, I didn't have much access to the television growing up, but I'd see, other kids, skating around on them, or whenever we drove by a skate park, like whenever Mum went to the shops, whatnot, driving past the Browns Plains skate park, it would often, see people on skateboards having a good time, and it looked fun, so I was very happy when I was sort of 9, 10 years old, got my first skateboard, and, yeah. As far as a skateboard goes, just your basic kid's toy one. Like, it had like a bit of grip tape on the tail, and then up on towards the front bolts, and it was shaped sort of like this. And well, even though like for a good while I was just sort of pushing around on the driveway for a good while, and I started pushing along the street, and well, I would remember my dad, who was watching me for one weekend. At least I'm pretty sure it wasn't one day. I don't really remember. But yeah, he would tell me not to skate too far, and he would caution me about skateboarding down the hill from the next street that would go into our street. And well, after skateboarding down the hill in the driveway a bunch of times, and well, you know what it's like. You stick to the same spot over and over again. You get sort of bored with that, and yeah. So back then, of course, the way parents are, they always insist you wear your elbow pads, your knee pads, protect yourself. And back in those days, yeah, I'm glad I wore those. So anyway, so one day, yeah, well, yes, Dad was watching me when he said don't go down that hill. I believe it was literally the next morning. I got up early before even he was up. I went up to the top of that hill, and began to push my way down. It was the first time going down a street hill. I would always just go down the little hill that my driveway of the driveway to the house was. It's sort of like a little, very smallish hill. And well, I went down, and I completely wiped out. And in all consideration, it really wasn't that big of a hill either. Like, I could roll down it easily now. And well, after the second try, after I wiped out, I got straight back up there and went down again. and I went down there flawlessly. And I think that moment is what really hooked me into skateboarding when I was at that age. Going down hills was really fun. It was the most funnest thing I did. And so, and the skateboard I had at the time wasn't really good for, all suited really for doing tricks or really anything like that. Well, to that matter, I could learn to kick turn off it. That was about it. Yeah, and yeah, trying to ollie it. Yeah, you couldn't ollie the ball. It had sort of like a guard on the tail that it made stopping the board easier doing like tail stops. But yeah, you couldn't ollie off it because that guard would just prevent you from popping the board properly. So yeah, and well, then I started meeting other kids who lived on the same street as I did back at the time, and they were really into skating too. So I sort of hanged out with them, and it's actually them who taught me how to kick turn. And yeah, they tried to teach me how to ollie, but yeah, no one could really. Everyone tried ollieing my board, they couldn't do it, and they actually tried to teach me skating on their boards. You know, they had the proper modern skateboards like we have today. Yeah, and getting on one of those for the first time, it felt like riding something completely different. And yeah, it was nice of them me to borrow their board, and well, we all sort of hanged out for that year, and then about a year after that, pretty much all of them moved away. So I was left on my own, and basically, I still just pushed along the street, did whatever I could, and everything like that. And back during vacation care, I would bring my skateboard with me and go skating along in the all the way through the abandoned school, because vacation care, you're sort of put there, you know, sort of during the school holidays sort of thing. So there's really no one around the schools, no teachers really to stop you, except for the carers who were basically on duty during vacation care while parents are off working. They dump their kids there, that sort of thing. And yeah, that was when I started getting bullied and made fun of for skating, and having no one else there to really skateboard with, because everyone else were pretty much either on rollerblades or scooters or push bikes. I was pretty much the only skater there. Actually, I was the only skater there. And yeah, he had a kid who was a bit older than me. He was always telling me, "Oh, you're never gonna be a good skater. You're not gonna be like Tony Hawk or anything like that. Just give it up, give it up." And me being a kid at that age, you know, listening to that sort of thing does more or less get to you. You know what I mean? So I eventually, yeah, sort of just listened to him, and after another event when him and another one of his buddies found me where I was just skateboarding on my street, cruising around, they basically came up. I didn't see him. They sort of came out of nowhere, pushed me off my board, grabbed it, and proceeded to try to throw it down a gutter drain. And after pulling it out, it was like, yeah, it did enough trauma that, yeah, I never wanted to get on the skateboard again. And you know, I wish I had. I wish I had kept going with it, to be honest, and not let my mum sell it at the garage sale when that came up. Mind you, I offered the board freely. But, you know, sometimes you go through these things, you learn, and sometimes we all make mistakes, don't we? And, yeah, and from my childhood, yeah, dealing with bullies and things like that, it's always been something I sort of had to deal with. You know, lot of people gave me a lot of crap, especially in primary school. Yeah, I was like, I was always sort of quiet, somewhat shy to talk to people, yeah, I'll admit, shy, but also somewhat would not know what to say and sort of things in certain situations, and whenever I did talk, my communication was always off and bad. Still is to this day, but I'm working on it. You know, even doing videos like this where I'm just talking to the camera like this does help my self confidence, allows me to use my voice, and it does help me with speaking, pronunciation, and all that. So I'm actually quite proud that I'm taking the time right now to get in front of the camera and just talk. And well, so yeah, like I was saying, yeah, bullying was quite a bit of a thing, and you know, and a lot of times, like when I had crushes on the girls and things like that, and when they found out, I was laughed at a lot and things like that. I think a lot of boys go through that too. But yeah, I remember I had this one bully who would not give an inch. I guess I'm trying to say, like, would not leave me alone at all. Worse, it was a girl. Oh man, I'll admit there are times I wanted to knock her down, and I could have, but I was always raised, dad, mum, everyone, man, everyone will tell you, Ryan, do not hit a girl, ever, no matter what. Don't hit a girl. She's a girl. She's not going to hurt you that much. The usual, I guess, toxicity that people teach their little boys. At least I found that sort of side of the conversation a bit toxicity. No matter what she does, don't whack her, sort of thing. And no, it wouldn't surprise me if that girl grew up to be like a professional dominatrix or something. Oh, that crap she put me through. Anyway, like she would she was taller. She was quite a bit taller than me too. I was pretty short compared to most of the other kids. Didn't really hit my growth spurt till like my teenage years, which I think also happens to all boys. Anyways, so she'll constantly shove me to the ground, throw me into things. Teachers did nothing about it. And well, that's partly my fault too, because like I said, bad with communication, not very good at talking, and I couldn't really put my case through, you know what I mean? So, and she knew that too, so I guess she sort of took advantage of that. And yeah, she I remember when she had a group of her friends like all gathered in one spot, and she basically hammerlocked me. So wrestling hold. That that's how I can best describe it. Basically hammerlocked me, had my face to the wall, and pretty much made me kiss it. You know, see what I mean? She could have grown up to be a professional dominatrix behaving like that. So yeah, no. It wasn't just her. I got bullied a lot, but eventually, it did make me sort of sign up for karate classes and learning how to defend myself and things like that. And eventually, I was able to learn enough from that, apply that to real life situations, and was able to keep her away from me from the rest of my life in primary school. I didn't like beat her up or anything, but there are other ways in that martial arts and self defense can teach you, like awareness and avoidance, things like that, that I was able to use basically to keep her away from me, and wasn't, things really stopped being a problem there, And when there were boys as they get older and they get a bit more violent, then and I couldn't talk my way out of things or anything like that, then yes, then I would fight back. And more often than not, well, I both won and lost quite quite a few fights in primary school. I just got tired of being bullied and pushed around, and well, sometimes you don't necessarily have to win the fight. Sometimes you get a really good hit in on the other guy. He never bothers you again. You know, and that's kind of what it was like for me in primary school. I'm glad things in high school got really quiet once I hit high school. I think I only had to defend myself in high school once. And that was because some kid heard the rumors about my karate and self defense training. People from primary school talked who went to the same high school, so some kid wanted to kept hassling me, wanting to fight me, and I did my best to always talk my way out of it and things like that. Most of the time I could, but wouldn't you know it, one day the HPE teacher decides to partner me up with him, and it's sort of like a gymnastics class, like a something to do with maths anyway. So anyway, we all sort of partnered up, and well, I couldn't avoid him there, and we actually got into a fight right in the middle of class. And the funny thing is, the teacher was actually so busy teaching the class, she didn't even notice us getting into it over there. Not to mention the crowd of kids who were actually watching. And well, to my surprise, I actually won that fight. And he was a bigger kid than me too. And so was his friend who tried to attack me from behind. But I was able to see him and sort of monkey flipped him over me. I don't know, some crazy flip thing that I did out of instinct. My motor skills were gone. I just reacted, and somehow he got flipped over. It's funny, when he got up, he ran the other way. I believe his reaction was, "Holy shit!" And yeah, well, that was the only time I actually had to defend myself in high school. So other than that, I just went through high school the best I could, and as I got older, through high school, that's when I started more or less getting really into my creativity and getting really stuck into my creativity side. Now, even through as a child, I always liked to draw things and create things, work my own characters and my imagination and things like that. And my mother would always say I had like a really good imagination. Dad would say it too. Teachers as well. In fact, they talked to my mum about my imagination quite a bit, and well, sometimes that got me in trouble, and sometimes it didn't. And well, other times it got me seeing like psychological help, like putting like wires and beepers and things on me. I had like a big obsession with superheroes, X-Men, Wolverine, Spider-Man. My mother had me going to these group of doctors trying to find out what is with this superhero obsession. I feel like me, I'm thinking, don't a lot of boys get into superheroes at that age? Is it really a psycho babble, some mental condition with a ridiculous name I can't pronounce? Yeah, you get the point. And you know what? It did help me in my creativity later on in my life as I got into high school, started experimenting a bit more with my creativity. And, well, yeah. I'd do things my own way in creativity, which often actually meant that I actually got C minuses, maybe even lower in visual arts, because I always felt that doing artwork like that was more an expression of myself. I didn't like the idea of doing a design that that the teacher approves. You know what I mean? I believe all art should be like a self expression and things like that. So I more or less just did my own thing there, and Even she admitted on the report card that he can Ryan can do art, but he doesn't use techniques that are his own, or I don't know, some kind of thing or whatever. Anyway, it was ridiculous. Eventually, when came to art class, I just, like I said, just did my own thing, and whatever grade I got, whatever grade I got, but at least it was my own thing. And well, I also got into doing a lot of story writing. Whenever I got free time in high school, I'll do a lot of story writing, write stories and things like that. Some of them were like very childish and kiddish and funny. And when I tried to expand on something that was a bit more mature, now before I get into this, to make it clear, I did this like really childrenish like story. I can't remember. It was like school animals, I think I called it, or animals in school. I can't really remember. But basically, I just wrote about like high school, but every character in there was a different animal, and they had names. I named them after people, in the class, and they were all happy, ha ha, fun in with that story. And then came or I tried to do something mature now because no one pulled me up about using real names in that other story. When I tried to do something a bit more mature and I will admit, definitely, definitely violent, and that was like the really big scandal in our school. Never mind the kids who are selling selling drugs to other kids in the school, and crap like that goes down at school. I get in trouble for writing a story. Anyway, I called it the School Wars, and it was about like a and to make it more fun, I made it like a fantasy sort of background, like sort of medieval, like a asteroid had wiped out humanity, and the only structures left of humanity were like a few schools and stuff. So being sent back to the Dark Ages, back sort of having to go back to medieval times, and basically students were basically the slaves, and the teachers were like the big masters and royalty and things like that. So it's about like a rebellion, and well, apparently, apparently word got out about the story I was doing, and that got to some concerned parents who thought this was like some sort of a plot. They thought I was planning a massacre or something. I don't know, and it got the teachers to question me and look at them, and basically I got suspended for a whole week for that, which to me that was basically a vacation. Well, I was suspended anyway. But the point is, after that happened, and it did sort of put a bit of a block on my creativity, and I think I still might have it a little bit today. Like there, now the biggest problem was, of course, is that I used real names. And I even pointed at you, so I don't get in trouble for doing it in this story. I even handed it to him, the happy, the nice happy one about pet animals, or the other one they wanted us to write so they could publish into a book and fund their own thing, which I think was wrong. I didn't agree with it. Didn't do it in the end. Yeah, there was actually this moment where the special education unit, because that's where I was in, and yeah, they wanted a bunch of us to write a collection group of happy stories, and they were going to try get it published. So you know, basically they get paid off our hard work, and I didn't agree to that, so I wouldn't participate in that. I think that's morally wrong. And so anyway, so like I was saying, I was pointing out that okay, I didn't get in trouble for using real names in this story, you know, I just thought, why am I suddenly getting trouble for this one? And, because I wasn't pulled up last time, I didn't think there was, a big deal or something bad at the time. Of course, I know now. I know now, of course. But back then, I didn't. And it was like, while I was suspended, I was like, why was I punished? And, well, anyway, it made me not want to create for a while. I didn't wasn't drawing anymore, wasn't writing any more stories or things like that. It took about halfway through the next year before I got a creative spark again. But yeah, I think the only person who actually sort of stood up for me for that whole thing was actually my dad, ironically enough. He actually suggested to my mum to yell at the teachers for this. I mean, it's like, where am I going to get a medieval catapult? You know what I mean? It was like, you know, that's all it was. It was just a story. Just a story. It wasn't real or anything like that. And they were saying, I thought they would have had the intelligence to work out this is a story, not some elaborate plot. And, in fact, he's actually suggested a couple of times that I redo that project, just of course, make sure all the names in it are fictional. And, yeah, but, like I said, that project traumatized me to the point that, yeah, no, I don't want to. I don't want anything to do with that. And he's always telling me it's good because the point is, you made an impact with it. Just the fact that you made an impact with it meant it was good. And he thinks it's actually a mistake that I'm not doing something with it. But, can't help it. Project I did traumatized me, therefore it's not doing it. And, so, yes, as I was saying, I didn't have a really creative spark until like halfway through the next year. And also, with, when I got back to school, everyone treated me differently. And I mean everyone. Teachers, everything. A lot of teachers had me like sort of transferred out of their classes. And yeah, I wasn't getting sort of the help I needed to get. And this is over one mistake. And like I said, it's not like I was selling drugs to kids in school property like some of the other students were, or anything like that. And, yeah. There actually was one, maybe two teachers that actually stood up for me, funny enough. Yeah, a couple of teachers actually read the story, actually thought it was cool. But, yeah. So not everyone was against me, so that was good at least. That made the rest of my high school experience a little better. But yeah, pretty much in the end, I feel my graduation certificate that I got was basically just handed to me. Here, Ryan, here it is. Get out of here. Sort of. And basically, like I was saying, when I got my creative spark back halfway through the year, this is where I started getting into really drawing comics and things like that. And it's actually where I wrote the original short story for Chase Hoodlums. Chase Hoodlums was actually my first comic character, and it was during my horror movie phase. And like during that year, I was watching A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and Friday the 13th, the original movie, and came up with the concept of Chase Hoodlums and his story, and as it turned out, he was sort of like a cross between Freddy and Jason. He could fight and kill people in the physical world, but he could also turn the physical world into a living nightmare, kind of like Freddy does when he invades people's dreams. And he had a bit of a witty personality as well. And so I got a bit of that direction started creating there and writing characters based on that. And that's basically how Chase Woodlands was brought up. And I'm still trying to work on his story today. Like you've probably seen my channel, there's quite a few bunch of comics out there where he's featured in, but nothing actually finished. Keeps being restarted, or there's something in this other story I didn't like, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna try it again. Just try it again till I get it right. And yeah, I'm actually now just in the process of eliminating all the things I don't like in the Chase Woodland stories and bringing it all together as something that I actually do feel proud of and enjoy. Like the current one I'm currently working on, I think it's got the right feel, what I'm actually trying to go for with Chase Woodland's story. I actually do a proper story, proper graphic novel, so you guys can read, check it out where I put all my other webcomic sites. And if you happen to go there, feel free to read them. And if you want to do me a solid, click all the ads that appear too on the page. They'll do me a solid. I'll get some revenue for that. Kidding. Or am I? But yeah, so that'll be up there, and I'll actually have it as a self-published book too. You guys can, get it off there when that's done. And basically from there, that's how I got into drawing and creating comics. And mind you, as a bit of a precaution at that time, especially after that last incident with the school war story, I didn't show anyone this. Kept it to myself, just worked on it at home on the computer. The first drawn Chase Woodlands comic I did was drawn very badly. My artwork wasn't, what it looks like today, A lot of the characters basically were drawn like stick figures and things like that. And I was using that really bad, like, 90s paint program. So yeah, it didn't really turn out looking that good. But at least the story was there, the vision was there, and I was proud of myself for following that through. And then Agent I was the second character. Cool dude, metal bucket, red eye in the middle, blue pointy rods, green jacket, guns. Check out my videos, you'll see him there. He was my second character, and that got me into like the secret agent superhero genre and started drawing and creating there, and basically kind of just kept growing from there, and sometimes I stop those projects, then I try to redo them and things like that. It's definitely a mess, but I'm definitely starting to actually create comics that I'm actually proud of, like really, really proud of and things like that. And that's sort of the thing with me, like, I'm the kind of dude who creates things as I go, sort of thing. I don't like being, like, completely stuck in a script. If I can think of something better that I think might work better, I can easily change it, that sort of thing. That's sort of how my creative progress works, even though it means like I'm resetting it and it's like doing different versions of the same character and the same thing. In a way, to me, it's still a bunch of different, Almighty Eye comics. And to me, that's something I could be proud of and happy for, and I am proud of myself and happy how far I've gone with that. And I've been taught, like, through my high school years and primary school years, much like my primary school years, it didn't, just because I could defend myself in high school and didn't really have to defend myself in high school, didn't mean that I didn't get shit from other people. And well, yeah, I did. I even got told that I'd never amount to anything. And well, which is kind of funny because I've literally accomplished everything I set out to do when I left high school. For for instance, like I said, I kept working on my comics. I am self-published. People can go to my online store and buy my comics whenever they want to, and selling my comics was a big dream of mine. I am doing it. I don't make many sales, mind you, but it's out there. It's available. People can click buy it whenever I want. And to me, that's a dream come true, and I'm quite proud of that. And more importantly, that and one of the biggest dreams I used to really get ridiculed for, especially how short and really, really skinny I was back at the time, was my dream of wanting to be a professional wrestler. And I got laughed at a lot. In fact, all the way throughout high school, I was very obsessed with it. I would always look for ways to do it. Teachers weren't looking. I'd be on the intranet trying to find some semblance of WWE clips. I was getting into wrestling during the whole Randy Orton, Triple H, Batista, Ric Flair Evolution era. Back when Randy Orton won the World Heavyweight title the first time from Chris Benoit. And I was getting into wrestling back during that era. And Kane's unmasking and all that. And I love that, and I started getting into backyard wrestling. My mates we'd wrestle on the trampoline and doing stupid things like that. A lot of kids do it. WWE says, warning, do not try this at home, but it pretty much eggs you on to try it at home. If they didn't have that warning, people wouldn't go, oh, don't try at home. Oh, well, I'm going to try it at home and get really into it. And, well, sort of where passion is formed. And, pretty much, I think about half a year after leaving high school, I was traveling from my place in Browns Plains, coming down to the Gold Coast, and I was at the IPW, that's Impact Pro Wrestling Australia's sweatshop, which was basically like a little warehouse, like sort of in a industrial area. It was pretty cool. I gotta admit, sort of not quite what I was expecting for a pro wrestling training school, but it was pretty cool nonetheless. And, seeing that ring the first time, you know, first time I took a bump on the thing, it was just amazing. And the owner, Peter the Hawk Ball, God rest his soul, man who taught me everything I know. He was actually very friendly. He let me and Curtis, he was my friend, who was into wrestling as much as I was. In fact, he was the one who found IPW in the sweatshop and brought me along with him. And anyway, as I was saying, Peter Hawk Ball was very nice to us. He actually let us join in the training free for the first day, as long as we came back and actually gave him our training fees and whatnot the next time. And after the training session, I was like, yeah, we'll definitely coming back. Mate Curtis, he eventually stopped. He wasn't quite as into it as I was, I suppose. I kept coming back. And I did have... That was also very challenging for me. And, sort of... How to put it? Like, I was actually a pretty slow learner. It took me forever to learn the basics and how to link all the basic stuff together. It actually took me a while, and as it actually turns out today, I'm actually one of the best, or was one of the best at it in IPW. In fact, using my basics is basically what I did in the ring as an in ring performer. But more into that later. So it took me ages to get stuck in training and learn the basics, and eventually, sometimes I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, so I'd take a break and stop for a while, that sort of thing, and I'd try and work on myself on my own, see if I can, sort of figure it out on my own, and eventually, it did, work. All that solo training helped me link it. Actually, did help me link it together, and you know, I went away for a little while. I spent like a month at my cousin's up at Bundaberg, and I'd be on his trampoline all the time. He didn't have like mats or anything, sort of like that. I could use, and I was basically just like wrestling with an invisible opponent, putting basic holds, basic takedowns, and just having like these mini matches where I basically just did nothing but basics, and really kept trying to link everything together. Like if I was attacking the arm, okay, what can I do next to keep that story going and whatnot. Eventually, just sort of clicked, and when I came back, I was able to link it all together, and from there I was starting to earn my way into getting into the show. There were a couple of other setbacks. I did something that I wasn't proud of. There was just one day my head wasn't in it. Basically, I was like in a really bad mood. I had relationship problems, that sort of crap, and well, there was this other guy there, and basically I blew an opportunity to get on the show. I basically choked. My head just wasn't in it. I was upset and whatnot. And this isn't an excuse. This isn't an excuse to condone what I did. And well, basically, this one guy just said the wrong thing, the wrong time. I get he was joking and whatnot, but it was like, yeah, and I don't know. Well, I basically grabbed him like the throat like that, just like the wrestlers do, like when you're setting up for a choke slam, that sort of thing, and well, I didn't take into account that he was right near a wall. His head banged and tapped it, and yeah, and I realized instantly, okay, I just fucked up. I did wrong. I did bad. Ryan did bad. I tried to, and I apologized to him as best I could right there on the spot, and well, ultimately, it nearly got me kicked out of IPW permanently, and basically, well, the following Saturday they were doing a show, so I came there, and unfortunately, I wasn't expecting the talking to that I was going to get from the boss. And needless to say, it actually bothered me to the point that I was actually in tears for the whole day. Just upset, not at them or anything, by rights, if they were going to fire me, I deserved it. But I was just upset, crying over myself for letting my anger get the better of me, and actually getting, blowing, chance that I may have, just blown my dream of wrestling professionally. So, this is actually the first time I've opened up about this, actually told this. Probably a lot of, I could imagine that some people who were around during that point have probably actually completely forgotten about this. So, basically, I did manage to calm myself down and stop myself from tearing up, and just told him like, all right, well, as Pete said, he'd have me. He was having me talked and brought up with the entire locker room, and would talk to them about what I did. Um, Made me, well, apologize to everyone, and basically, ultimately, they would decide. They'd basically decide my fate. They literally had a show of hands whether I'd be allowed to stay or not. The whole pro wrestler way of it, I guess. And well, and there I was. I was actually manned up and braved up enough. Like, you know what? If you get fired, you get fired. If you're not allowed to come by and train anymore, and whatnot, it's not the end of the world. I got to that mentality. Whatever happens, happens. I'll apologize, say my piece, and everything. But what happens after that, happens. And well, after he said that, and I apologized and talked about how this was more than just a betrayal of them. It was ultimately a betrayal of myself. And well, by the time the whole apology and and my little bit of a speech was done, it was yeah, up to a show of hands whether I'd stay or not. And yeah, most of them allowed me to stay. And I remember the boss saying, "It were up to me, I'd be firing you right now, but these guys want you to stay, you can stay." And I was relieved that I could go to my dream, continue on with my dream of doing that. But at the same time, I actually lost, and I'm ashamed to admit this. Well, not really ashamed to admit this, but I actually lost a lot of respect for the boss. He's the boss, he makes the rules. If he says I'm gone, I'm gone. To me, it's like, why are you doing the whole pro wrestling way of things? I felt like I was going through a storyline like in WWE. You know what I mean? And I was prepared. I was prepared to walk out and leave if it came to it, and he left it to other people. As far as him being a boss was concerned, I lost respect for him. When an employee fucks up, you fire him. You know? And this actually might sound strange, sort of saying that. It's like, Ryan, but you can still wrestle. You can still go achieve your dream. Why are you pissed off? But yeah, even though he said I could stay, it eventually made me walk away again. You know? And I walked away because I felt, even though the rest of the locker room said I could stay, and um, we had one wrestler, Sid. I think his name was Sid. Anyway, um, I don't know why he left. By the time I actually came back again, he was gone. But yeah, I still stuck around for the show. I didn't walk away straight away. Stuck around for the show. But when I went up to congratulate everyone for their matches and things. Yeah, Sid actually told me to fuck off. And yeah, and well, I guess you could say it a lot like I was back when I was skating as a kid. I took that more to heart to anything, and I was thinking about stepping down for a little while anyway after the incident. Really decide, do I really want to be here? That sort of thing. And well, I did come back a little while after that and was welcome back. Sid wasn't there anymore. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he left of his own accord or whether some of the other wrestlers who heard him say what he said to me after everyone else said I could stay. I don't know, told someone and he got sacked. I don't know the story there. I wasn't there for that part. Um, yeah, I just got back to training and, you know, relearned everything and went at it again. And eventually, with a bit of work and a lot of self help work as well, I did manage to get good enough so I could put on shows. The problem was I could never afford any gear. So so yeah, it was a lot of in and out going in IPW, and well, on my last and my really big run, we did this little. I did this like sort of temporary gimmick where I was dressed up as a soldier. We're calling myself Sarge, and I did get my dream to actually have an official match on a show. And it wasn't like a quick, like 5 minute or 2 minute jobber sort of thing either. I was out there for a full 20 minutes with Reaper, Mystery. Reaper was the tag partner of the match. We're taking on Mystery and Tony Storm Russell. And yes, that Tony Storm, who is now in NXT, in WWE now. That Tony Storm. And not gonna tell you, I can't. It was kind of fun, taking a frog splash from her, if you know what I mean. Just bit of humor, guys. Bit of humor. So anyway, which looking back at that now, the fact that I got to have a match with Tony Storm now, kind of an honor, kind of something I'm proud of, and well, yeah. So anyway, the whole Sarge thing didn't last, and yeah, I did spend a little time in another pro wrestling organization after that, and well, I think that was in there. I had another pretty proud wrestling moment. I literally bled in the same ring as Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. It was the ring they hired to use back when they did a tour in Brisbane. So that was like a badge of honor for me. And this wasn't like bleeding as far as what happens in pro wrestling. This was natural bleeding. I got I got missile drop kicked in the face, basically. And well, with that, and yeah, and an incident that other organization, yeah, where I basically could have seriously damaged my kneecap. I got it's a battle royale. I got military pressed out of the ring, and I basically hit the floor hard. Yeah, my knee buckled and hit it, and I was actually lucky. I got lucky. There was no actual like bad damage done to it. Like hadn't broken it or nothing like that. You know, didn't even fracture. Still hurt a heck of a lot. But yeah, it got me out of the ring for a little while. And but ultimately, I decided IPW is where I belong. So I went back there, and I actually had money to get gear this time, and I was able to wrestle on shows from there for a few years, and eventually won the IPW Slam Nation Television Championship. At least that's what the belt was called back when it was introduced. It was called the Cruiserweight title back when I won it, but to me, it is always the IPW Slam Nation Television Championship. And I had about a quick 2 month reign, and basically, I had achieved what I set out to do. I wanted to wrestle professionally and win a championship. So when I lost the belt, I felt content that I could actually hang up my gear and leave it for good. I still made like little appearances here and there. Guest appeared in a couple of battle royales for IPW. Did a squash. Yeah, and it's definitely a ride. I'd probably go back in there, but yeah, I don't have my gear anymore. Secondly, I've outgrown it. I've both outgrown my gear, and yeah, when we move recently, a lot of our stuff got misplaced, including my gear. So I think it may have accidentally been thrown out. So yeah, so a lot of the so basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is, through the time that people in high school and primary school who were telling me all my life that I'd never amount to anything, I was a professional wrestler for IPW, a former championship in that, a former champion title holder in that pro wrestling organization, and not only that, I am a published comic writer and artist like I've always wanted, and I do have them on platforms where it sells and does make me a little bit of money here and there. Not very much, but a little bit. It's something I'm proud of, something I'm happy with. And, and in recent years, I've also picked up my other secret passion of picking up a skateboard and skating. Even though I'm not the best at it, but I have a lot of fun doing it. Relaxes me, mellows me out, and I enjoy it quite a lot. And I still love drawing and creating comics. I still do that. I've even begun stepping into animation a little bit. Even though I'm not really that good at it, I still love animating. And the thing I get out of the most when I create comics and animations and things like that, it's like I'm literally creating a world, you know what I mean? It's like creating a world sort of thing. And, even if one person looks at my comics, if I don't make any more money from it at all, let's say all the platforms that it's on that does make me that little bit of money I was talking about were shut down, as long as one person was reading them or looking at them, or it's worth it for me to keep going, so to speak. And yeah, well, I have no idea how long I've been talking. I've probably been talking an hour and a half straight, I don't know. So I'm actually gonna call it quits here and stop. And I'll back again for another video. I might even do more videos like this one where I'm just talking, and maybe I'll definitely be back with more Dragon Ball What Ifs. I know you guys love the Dragon Ball What Ifs on this channel. And yes, there'll be more skating content and the occasional comic content that comes on this channel, which what this channel was actually created for in the first place, my comics. But yeah, like I said, the DB Raw channel is going to be home to all my content, even if it's just me in front of camera just talking. And yeah, you're probably wondering why I'm not looking at the camera while talking, while I'm more or less facing out here. I actually feel more natural just sort of talking out here really than looking at the camera. It kind of helps with those sort of long pauses I do. Like I said, there was never really any plan. So basically, I guess the same thing I want to say is, no matter what your dreams are, just sort of remember you always got a choice. You can always choose to live out your dreams and go for it and do the best you can with it. Take the, no dreams come true easily. My dream of professional wrestling, that didn't come true easily. I had to struggle real hard to get it. A lot of setbacks, a lot of personal growth, and occasional, the occasional bad stuff happened, and and say in comics there were drawbacks, there were things like that, and sometimes you get to that point, it's like, oh, why am I even doing this? But you gotta remember is basically, don't let those sort of things stop you. Just gotta remember the passion of what you're doing and your ultimate enjoyment of what you're doing. As stressful as it was sometimes, and every professional wrestler goes through this when you're, the frustration of not getting booked on a show. If you enjoy just even going there and training, doing the training, then you're a winner in my book. And just keep persisting at it, you'll get there. Same with drawing comics and things like that and other things. And I'm hopefully to pass that same mentality on when I'm doing my animations and things like that too. I just want to keep growing and improve myself in every aspect of my life if I can, and in every little way possible. And I really am. I'm quite happy with my life, and I enjoy what I do. I enjoy everything that I do, and I'm really glad and blessed that I have the freedom to pursue those things, and that I made the choice to go after those things. It's those were the best decisions of my life, and and it led to me having all sorts of lifelong friendships and things, both in professional wrestling and other ways too. In fact, Jess Origliazzo, Jess Origliazzo was my pen pal for a while. Jess from the Veronicas. Yeah, for when I was like 16 years old, I had like the biggest crush on her, and well, when I turned 21, I sort of expressed how I felt about her on a video or something, and she direct messaged me, and we became internet pen pals for quite a while, and a lot of her encouragement is actually what encouraged me to get back into that ring that last time, where I had that 3 year reign of actually wrestling on shows. So I actually thank her a lot for encouraging me like that, and she used to really like reading my comics too, and she she really she was really there for me at a time where I really needed it too. So I'm always very thankful to her for being there for me at that time, and I'm sure she'd be proud of me now that that I'm standing on my own 2 feet, making my own progress and my own confidences, and out there making lifelong friends and all that. So yeah, so again, I guess the point is, whatever your dreams are, go for it. You know, even if you got that crush on that celebrity, go for it. You never know. You might actually become pen pals and have a lifelong friendship with them. Well, we may not. Me and Jess, we don't really talk that much anymore, but in here, she'll always be a kind-hearted friend to me, and I'll always treasure those moments where we were pen pals and talking to each other and supporting each other. Yeah, I wasn't just take from my end. I was supporting her a lot too with her music, always listening to her new stuff, complimenting her new singles and everything. Yeah. So really, when I look back on my life to where I am now, I've had a hell of a life, a hell of a ride, and personally, I think it's still only just beginning. I'm only 31, 31, and I've done all that. Where's life gonna take me now? What's my next big adventure? And I think it'll be interesting to find out. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. This is DB Wright Uncensored, or Ryan Melrose Uncensored. And if you want, I'll be back doing another video like this one where I'm just talking, and there'll be, like I said, more what ifs in this channel and all the other stuff I do on this channel. And yeah, just again, go for it, guys. And well, I'll just see you guys next time. Stay safe, everyone.